On to the week 5 wide receiver rankings. We got it pretty good in week number 4, and we have a change at S tier. Sad change. Sound the violins. Malik Neighbors, torn ACL, out for the season. You hate to see it. Had him in S tier. Now he goes all the way down. He was getting deep looks from Dark 2. It's a sad sign. But our number 1 and 2 receiver remain. We got him right. Puka has been S tier as the number 1 receiver since week 2. Amon-Ra St. Brown new as the top dog up there in S tier with Puka. And I like the way that our week 4 rankings shook out. So Puka and Amon-Ra St. Brown, these are must-start guys week in and week out. And they seem to be the 2 best receivers in fantasy football right now. Now there's an argument you can make to trade Amon-Ra St. Brown while he's getting the touchdown volume, right? Like Amon-Ra St. Brown only had 6 receptions and 6 targets, I believe, in week number 4. If he doesn't score touchdowns, he had 2 of them. He has a bad game, right? So you could potentially trade him over high. But just keep in mind, looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown, what he's done so far and throughout his career, again, go check out Flock Fantasy for free. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he is no stranger to having a high touchdown rate. If we were to go ahead and look at 2024, bam, bam, bam. Look at all that. 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. This guy scores touchdowns at a very, very high rate. So it's no surprise. It's almost like James Cook, but as a wide receiver. Now, Puka Nacua, an argument can be made to trade him high. Now, what's the argument? Puka Nacua, the only potential thing you can say to me is one thing. That this guy plays like he wants to die. This dude goes out there, and I was thinking to myself, man, Puka Nacua is so good. When's he going to get injured? He plays like he wants to get injured. Next thing I know, he's going to the locker room. They're saying it's his knee. I'm like, all right, it's over. He had an injury last year. It's over. Bursa sack, whatever, right? It's a thumb injury. Thank God. Now, Puka Nacua on a short week, Thursday Night Football, he's going to dominate. Actually, hold on. Am I tripping? No, yeah, it is not. It is Thursday Night Football. Rams versus 49ers, I believe, is Thursday Night Football. I think I hallucinated in the running back rankings and put the Seahawks as Thursday Night Football. Guess I was tripping there. My bad. But the Los Angeles Rams take on the 49ers. These guys are top 2 alphas. JSN has a down game, but he puts up like 10 fantasy points in the 4th quarter alone. He remains up there as my number 3 wide receiver. I know it's aggressive. Now, we also have 4 teams on bye week as well this week. These rankings incorporate rest of season as well, so we're going to keep them in the rankings, but we'll tell you who's on bye. JSN still averaging 15, 17, 18 points a game. I still like him right here as wide receiver 3. Rome Odunze, we had aggressively ranked as wide receiver 4. He saves me from looking like a clown with a touchdown, right? So it was a touchdown-dependent week, but he still had 8 targets, only brought in 4 of them. He looks like a safe play. Now, sadly, Rome Odunze is on bye week in week number 5. Chicago Bears are on a bye, so DJ Moore is also on bye for those obviously wondering. But I still like Rome Odunze the rest of the season up there as a top 5 wide receiver. Nico Collins coming in for the Texans. Oh, the best matchup of all time versus the Titans, 12 points. No touchdown. The Texans had 6 points in the 4th quarter. I know they put up 18 or 20 or whatever in the 4th quarter, but don't be deceived. This Texans offense is disappointingly bad because their O-line is terrible. I mean, I don't know if I like Nico Collins. There's better days ahead. There's better days ahead for sure. But after like Jason and Dunze, it just feels like we're chasing the past with these guys. Now, Jamar Chase has to go higher. I haven't seen Chase with the Bengals on Monday Night Football yet when I'm recording this. I honestly don't care. With JSN and Dunze kind of having down games, I think Chase is going to go back up there as the wide receiver 3. Now, we'll see how bad he performs on Monday Night Football. You guys will already know. But I think Chase just has the best explosiveness out of any of these guys here. He deserves to be up there in A tier, especially over Collins. Now, Jefferson also should rise. I'd rather have Jefferson. I'm going to put him ahead of a Dunze. And honestly, I'm going to leave him behind JSN. But you have Carson Wentz targeting him. He gets 6 receptions on the opening drive of the Ireland game. I almost said the London game. I got it right. But if we take a look at what Jefferson did, he kind of finished the game not too strong. He had 23 points. He had 11 targets, which is big. Climbed up from 7 last week. So even with Addison returning, you still have Jefferson getting a bulk of the looks from Carson Wentz. Now, is that going to change with McCarthy? Sure, rest of the rankings could be different. I like how A tier has shaken up. Now, the only question left in A tier is who do you put between Drake London and Nico Collins? Take a look at Drake London. He had a solid day, a heck of a day. Now, Darnell Mooney left this game very early on, leaving Drake London and Kyle Pitts to have field days in a game in which the Atlanta Falcons stepped up in a big way following the firing of their wide receiver coach. I guess that changed things. The wide receiver coach is gone. Now Drake London's insane, right? 10 targets. he's honestly averaging 10 targets a game. So I think I would rather have him than Nico Collins, who the target volume isn't there for Nico yet, and the O-line is a lot worse. Now, Garrett Wilson, I've yet to see, but we're going to keep him ranked accordingly. BTJ, I mean, another game of mediocrity. He's going to remain in the buy low video, 11 points, still 7 targets. He's going to remain there in the buy low video. But is it exciting? Maybe not. Zay Flowers with no Lamar Jackson. Zay Flowers must drop down a whole tier. AJ Brown must drop down a whole tier. Ladd McConkey should get cut. Now I'm playing, but Ladd McConkey definitely is a big time faller. I'm putting AJ Brown like way low. Now AJ Brown actually had 9 targets, believe it or not, only brings in 2. Obviously takes to Twitter to voice his displeasure. Who the heck knows what's going on there? Devontae Adams is going to jump up a tier. We had him at the top of C tier and a highly ranked wide receiver, and it's because of the touchdown rate. I told you guys, watch out for Devontae Adams to get more involved in the red zone as the season goes, as he gels with Stafford. That looks like what's happening. I'd rather start Devontae than BTJ, to be completely honest. Now, rest of season, I'd rather have BTJ, but for the weekly rankings, it's got to be Devontae. Now, taking a look at the next name, Emeka Egbuka. I think I'd rather have him than Flowers, but this could be the first week. If Evans returns, we could see Egbuka, Evans, and Godwin on the field for the first time ever. I still think Egbuka would be in a good spot considering Godwin is going to be coming back from injury, although he just had 10 targets, and Evans is probably going to be a bit limited with the hamstring in his first game back. So I still have Egbuka right here at the top of C tier. Chris Olave has his worst game, but salvages it with a touchdown reception. Again, Chris Olave is leading the league in targets, only has 6 targets in week 4, but brings in a touchdown. A very bad game, 9 points. It seems like he's averaging like 12 points. We can't have Chris Olave this highly ranked moving forward. Who's going to rise? The big Q we know is going to rise ahead of Olave. Quentin Johnston gets more targets, more receiving yards, more touchdowns than anybody else there on the Chargers. Keenan Allen, maybe you drop Keenan Allen a little bit, but it was a tough game. I mean, the big Q looks like he is the real deal to start the season out, and who would have thought we would have him this high in the rankings? I'd rather have the big Q starting than Zay Flowers going into week number 5. Now, Zay Flowers honestly should drop a little bit more, but who do you raise? Somebody's going to have to be a big-time riser to go ahead of Zay Flowers, ahead of Olave, and George Pickens is going to be the name. You know, you have Zay Flowers. If Lamar Jackson is there, Zay Flowers should be safe, and I honestly think that Lamar Jackson is going to be there, so I'm going to stop nuking Zay Flowers at this point. Now, the names we have to put in there are George Pickens, who with his CeeDee Lamb gone, took over in a big-time way. Look at the targets the last 3 weeks, 9, 9, 11. Yeah, George Pickens is definitely going to be a big-time riser. Zay Flowers will stay where he is. Olave, Tyreek could jump Flowers and Olave with a big Monday Night Football game, but I've yet to see. Ted McMillan, this guy just seems like he's going to get a lot of targets, but we're still not seeing the capitalization. Averaging 8 targets a game, catching half of them a game. The floor is pretty good. 10 or 11 points a game is the floor. I think Sutton has to be higher. I haven't yet to see him on Monday Night Football again, but I think Sutton's going to provide a more reliable floor than some of the guys below him. Ricky Pearsall looks good, a bit banged up, short week. I still like Ricky Pearsall ranked where he is. Deebo Samuel with Marcus Mariota brings in a nice play. Deebo Samuel back in. I think he had a solid day. I think he had a touchdown reception, if I am understanding correctly. Yeah, a touchdown reception, 6 of 6, 72 yards. Deebo, 20 points twice this year without Terry McLaurin. Now, I would be surprised if we don't have Terry McLaurin and Jay Daniels back for week 5 against LA. Deebo Samuel is fairly ranked. I'd rather have him than Ricky because I don't know if we can trust Ricky Pearsall's health. Looked banged up, a short turnaround week. We'll see. MHJ was about to get dropped down a whole tier in the rankings with Ladd McConkey, but he salvages it with Kyler. We're going to leave him where he is. DK Metcalf, sell him high. Sell DK Metcalf high. Why? Because it's the big breakaway touchdown reception that's inflating his current price. You know, the target volume has not changed. Only 5 targets per game. The floor is there, but it's because he's had 3 straight weeks with a touchdown. Take those touchdowns away, and DK Metcalf is a league loser. So I'm scared about him rest of the season, but I'm going to leave him where he is. T. Higgins, I've yet to see. McLaurin is potentially injured, so he might have to go a little bit lower. Judy, not really exciting. Waddle, I've yet to see, but he might even be ahead of Judy depending on what the Dolphins look like on Monday Night Football. A.J. Brown cannot fall any further than this. I would rather have A.J. Brown than DK Metcalf. I'd rather start Metcalf than A.J. Brown. I'd rather start Pittman and Allen. No. A.J. Brown's going to stop falling there. Now, rest of season, A.J. Brown should still be up there in the top of C tier. But for this week's current matchup, man, like, I don't know how you go out there and you start A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith. I mean, I'm probably starting A.J. Brown over Ted McMillan. That's where he's going to drop. Now, Devontae Smith is talented. He's one of the more talented guys here. But all these guys are mostly talented too. And you honestly don't trust the target volume with Devontae as much as some of these other guys. So Ladd McConkey is a big-time faller. I can't drop Ladd McConkey any further than where he is in D tier. Jordan Addison looked real good with Carson Wentz. Jordan Addison brings it in a deep reception. Doesn't have the juice. Should have been practicing sprints. He wasn't practicing sprints. Wasn't able to bring the touchdown. But I'd rather start Jordan Addison than Devontae Smith heading into this week. I'd rather start Addison than Ladd McConkey, to be completely frank. So this is a big-time riser for sure. Now, Bears, where's DJ Moore? DJ Moore is on bye week, right? Drake London also on bye week. So keep in mind that Nico Collins jumps him in a whole tier. T. Higgins, we'll see. McLaurin, is he going to be healthy? We'll see. The Lions and Jameson Williams, he had 8 targets. He will be just fine. It was a down game in terms of points, but I think they're encouraged by the usage. Judy and Jacoby, down games from their quarterbacks. Not really too much to be changed, right? Like, you know that their quarterbacks are going to fluctuate in terms of volatility. And honestly, I think Addison and McConkey might be ahead of these guys. Maybe even Devontae. I'd rather start Devontae than Judy. I'd rather start Jacoby than Javonte. Because Jacoby, if we take a look at Jacoby Myers, I know it was a down week, but Geno Smith only had like 16 completions. Jacoby Myers, Geno Smith only had 100 passing yards. So, of course, Jacoby Myers is going to have a down game. But looking at the targets, first 2 weeks of the year, he was averaging 11 targets. So if we can get back to that in week number 5 against Indianapolis when they're probably going to be from behind, I think Jacoby could have a decent game. Mooney got banged up. Mooney should fall. Shaheed is providing a good floor. I like starting Shaheed in your flex spot. Romeo Doubs is a big-time riser. I'm going to actually put Doubs ahead of Devontae Smith. Now, we can't rise him that high. Now, looking at Romeo Doubs and what Romeo Doubs did, a lot of it came on the touchdown receptions, right? So in terms of week 5 specifically, they take on a bye week. But rest of season, Romeo Doubs should be ranked where he is. After the bye week, very good schedule. Bengals, Cardinals, Steelers, Panthers. Trash defenses. Outside of the Eagles, this guy's schedule looks really good. Now, keep in mind, only 8 targets, only 6 catches, but he had 3 touchdowns. So rest of season, I'm probably still having him right here with Jerry Jeudy in this type of realm. Keep in mind, he's on bye week. The Packers are on bye. Darnell Mooney on a bye week, got banged up, so honestly irrelevant. We'll drop him a little bit. But in terms of the rankings, we'd probably drop him a little bit. Diggs is going to jump up to the top of E tier, has his best game of the season to this point. And I think Stephon Diggs should be in your flex spot if you haven't. Taking a look at his game specifically, 6 catches, 101 yards. Yeah, I'm starting him if I have him, probably. Now, Juwan Jennings, he was limited. Juwan Jennings was limited. Where does Khalil Shakir fall up? Khalil Shakir brings in the touchdown catch. He's going to be ahead of Keon Coleman. Now, Keon Coleman has higher upside. Khalil Shakir's floor is just higher, and it looks like it remains that way. Now, Alik Iomanor, is he on this list? Alik is not here. I would put Alik Iomanor right here, ahead of Keon Coleman, behind Khalil Shakir. That's how confident I am in Alik. He's got 7 targets a week. This guy looks like the real deal. Go grab him off of waivers. Marquise Hollywood Brown. I was ready to take this guy off the list until he salvages his day with the receiving touchdown. I think he's pretty fairly ranked. I'd rather have DJ Moore, to be honest, than any of the guys right here. Juwan Jennings, if he's not limited, would be up here, but you know, the limited, it's scary. Matthew Golden should also rise ahead of Rashid Shaheed. Looks like he's doing Shaheed's job for him. Khalil Shakir maybe a bit ahead, a little bit of a lower floor in my eyes, because what's the passing volume going to look like for the Bills versus the Patriots if they go up by 100? Josh Downs has been disappointing. I think the rest of this list actually looks very good, except for one thing. Xavier Worthy has his best game as a Kansas City Chief. Looks like he wasn't limited at all, and looks like Xavier Worthy is going to have to jump up a lot. Now that he is back, now that he is healthy, to take on the Jaguars, they're going to need Xavier Worthy. I'd rather have Xavier Worthy in my lineup. I mean, I'd rather have him than Emeka Egbuka. So, I mean, this is going to be a big-time riser here. Xavier Worthy jumps up a lot of spots heading into Week 5. Now, Malik Neighbors hurt. Christian Kirk, I don't really care. I think this is a good ranking. Keep in mind, Rashee Rice will be back in 2 weeks. So, rest of the season looks good. Chris Godwin has to be ranked as well. Now, 10 targets for Chris Godwin with no Mike Evans, which, again, I'm presuming Mike Evans is out this week. I would rather have Chris Godwin up here around the tier of Chris Olave, where I think he's going to get a lot of targets. He's a week removed from the rust. I like Godwin a lot. Now, Did we miss anybody that we need to talk about? Let's take a look at the Flock Fantasy. Go check this out for free. The Flock Fantasy rankings. Keenan Allen, I wouldn't be too worried about. Yeah, so it looks like we got most of the top tier guys. Travis Hunter was utilized mostly as a receiver, but we've yet to see Travis Hunter do anything worth writing home about. So you're disappointed if you have Travis Hunter for sure. Brandon Ayuk's not close to returning. Cooper Kupp honestly does not excite me at all. 6 points after a 5-point game. We've only seen Cooper Kupp do something good once. Now, Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton should be on this list. Big play Slay. I'd put him down here in G tier. Wan'Dale Robinson is honestly flexible with the new wide receiver 1 for the Giants. He's the new wide receiver 1. I'd rather have Wan'Dale starting than Josh Downs, which might surprise a lot of people. Cedric Tillman got banged up. We're not even going to rank him. I told you boys, don't drop a dime on Trey Tucker. This guy was a touchdown-dependent guy. A deep threat, good for best ball. Troy Franklin, where do we have Troy Franklin ranked? He should be on this list. Troy Franklin, we'll see what happens on Monday Night Football. As of right now, I'm putting Troy Franklin probably right here between Wan'Dale and Downs, or maybe I'd probably put him right after Josh Downs and over Travis Hunter, which might surprise a lot of people. We'll see what happens on Monday Night Football. Luther Burden should be rostered. Kayshon Boutte, disappointing. I wouldn't be starting him at all. And really, I think that's going to do it for the wide receiver rankings. I hope this helps you boys out. Let me know, comment down below any questions, any suggestions. We head to QB, tight end, defense next. Signing off.